Dr. Rahman. Welcome to my channel, and I integrate spirituality and positive psychology to create unique approaches to wellness for you. So today we are doing episode 3 of Counselors in Cars. Welcome. Today we'll be speaking with Jehan, a counselor who is here to help us answer some questions about the next generation. What would we tell you or tell ourselves? What would we say to ourselves in the past that would help our path? If we had known earlier, if we could have said something to the younger version of ourselves. So this is the question that we're here to answer. And for all of you young counselors who are not sure what to do, what field to go into, what path to follow, I get this question a lot from people, from students, from clients, and I think this is something we should address. So let's get to it.
Let's take it away. All right, so shall we start with you?
I would love to start.
Okay, cool.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Good. So basically, what would you say to your younger self to give your younger self an easy pass to success and fulfillment today?
Yeah. So, thinking about this, it's really interesting because the thing that I think is the most important is to love and accept and appreciate oneself as different or unique as you are, because that is actually your gift. So I think that is something that even to this day, I am embracing the unique approach that I take to counseling, which is to integrate spirituality. And if you know, historically, the field of psychology and psychiatry have been sort of at odds with the spiritual world just because science and spirituality were not integrated. So for me to be someone who's sort of walking the line between two worlds, it's a really exciting and wonderful place to be, but it also makes me feel very unique and not always feeling like a normal person who's clear about where I fit in or what to do. And so just to tell myself, you know what? That is amazing. That is your special gift. The fact that you are different than those that are around you, that you are following a unique life path, a purpose that is uniquely yours. That is so empowering if you can actually love yourself for the differences. And sometimes you don't even know how far reaching they might be. You might like to meditate more and not know that will turn into you becoming a teacher later, or a meditation instructor, etc. So that's what I've been experiencing, and I would tell myself that earlier, because the 20s are a time of sometimes self-reflection in perhaps a light of not knowing where you belong or how to find yourself. So just giving yourself permission to be who you are is really important. So that's my answer.
I really like that. And I like how sort of like clear that is. And okay, so maybe, on the one hand, it's like, we've heard that before, know yourself. But on the other hand, I like how you can sort of set up like why. Like, and on that, because I think that sort of came to my heart too, is like the most natural answer, which is like you really need on some level to be honoring of like the who am I, right?
Yes.
And in addition to that, I feel like what would be supportive of that, so it's almost like ideally like these things among other things would be shared, is that you would, dear younger self, surround yourself with people who love your crazy, and the crazy that comes out not by force, but the one that comes out like you're weird, the things that, and not just you're weird, that like surround yourself with people who seem to get you without trying to get you. And as I'm saying this, is sort of kind of clarifying, like essentially the people with whom your heart feels free around. Because I feel like it's easier to really dig into who am I and then hear yourself when you're around people who honor themselves and you. And I feel like maybe one of the trickiest things is like, okay, so say you are kind of like who am I oriented, and like you're young and you're like, okay, like I really want to know who I am. That's really profound. At the same time, if you're surrounded by people who don't even care to recognize that, or who don't know how to, or who don't know how to recognize or sort of like nurture that in anyone else, which they can kind of come together. And it's not by any maliciousness. It's just like different levels of wisdom, different levels of inner recognition. Then it may be innately hard to actually do that work. Just because I feel like even with respect to, in earlier episodes when we talked about the way that I ultimately ended up being a counselor was very much in part to a mentor of mine saying, you should do this. So that's kind of like someone seeing through me and going, look, you've got a weird and it could really apply somewhere. And, that reassurance can sort of co-nourish the who am I. So I think that's another thing, like in addition, if I could say, two things could be said to my past self as an easy pass. It would be like really, really like look into who you are and surround yourself with people who care to do that and who do it effortlessly. They are most likely to nourish those seeds.
That is so beautiful. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you. I feel like that was a perfect addendum and a very essential part of being able to recognize yourself is to do that, to make the conscious decision to seek out the supportive environment that you need for that to flourish.
Yeah, and like even as we're saying this too, I feel like I wonder how many people even out there have their own ideas of like, you know what I mean, like what they would say is an easy pass, either as an addendum or even
I love it.
Like would they disagree? I wonder.
Definitely, we want you to comment below the video.
Why not?
With your ideas, about what would you say to your younger self or to a future counselor. And also, please, what do you think about what we're saying? Is this realistic? Is this something that you feel too? Let us know. We will definitely try to read all of your comments. And we really appreciate you watching and being part of our channel.